young people came through the church today. Yes.
Now, what exactly, Jennifer, what is the program really? Well, you're keeping people out of trouble, obviously. You're doing a whole lot of good things. But tell us, what are you most proud of? What is it that you're doing that is the most important to you?
Well, the most important to me is actually being able to work with our young people and watching them grow up. And many of our young people now are going off to college.
Oh,
and
that's
so
great.
they come back and work and assist Future Ties because they know of what they received working, going through our program. So now they want to come back and help and assist some of their siblings and their cousins as well.
How long have you had Future Ties?
Oh, so Future Ties has been in existence since 2010.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
When you talked about people coming back from college, I was wondering, you've had some folks there for some time.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Right. We started off pretty much as like a drop-in center, and then we did an assessment of the area, and we found out that the parents didn't have access to after-school programming or summer camp programming. So that was one of the needs of that community. There was no playgrounds in the area. There was nothing that the young people could actually do to stay out of trouble. So that's when Future Ties kind of we gave birth to it.
The one thing, too, Jennifer, all these things that you've been doing, you are a police officer.
I am. Yes, active.
So,
I'm still active.
Right, I know. So, which is great. So, you know what my question is, how does that work out? That's a good thing.
It's a great thing. Actually, it gives the families an inside track to working with other police officers as well as myself.
Exactly.
So
you know what I'm talking
it's
about.
always bridging the divide between community and police. That's one of the things that we do. I currently work in the Office of Restorative Justice Strategies, and our main focus is to breach those divides within the community to make sure that police and community don't have such a disconnect.
I think I made the comment to you before when I was a kid back when the earth was cooling, you know. I even remember the police car, the number 151. That was our...
Okay. That was your beat car.
Yeah, that was the beat car. And what did the people do, my parents and everybody else, because back then there weren't air conditioning. You need some iced tea? You know, I mean, it was...
Sounds like you had a lot of beat integrity going on.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And a lot of that doesn't happen now. So that's why, and you know why in many instances, but I'm just happy that not only that you're doing what you're doing, but I'm so happy that, you know, the university and also that the department allows you to do this.
Well, this is something that I do on my own time. So
that's what I wanted you to say.
Yes, this is something I do on my own time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which makes you even more wonderful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. My passion is community. My passion is working with young people, even though my young people, my own personal ones, they're grown. But I've always known that we have to step up and be that village in order to take care of the children so that they can be successful in the things that they tend to want to do in their lives.
Do you have to get permission from the department to do this?
No, I do not. As long as I'm not on their
on your
clock.
own time, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, I got you. That's what I didn't think. But they're probably very proud of you.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they'd have to be. That sends a message to some other folks, too. Do you know whether there are other people in the service and police department that do what you do?
There are plenty of officers that are giving back. You know, many times we don't get that shine. You know, it's always the negative publicity that police officers get, but there are tons of officers that are giving back to their communities daily.
That's great. That's a wonderful thing. I think that's fantastic. Ryan, tell us more.
Sure. So again, part of what we are hoping to do at the university is to provide the kind of infrastructure support that's necessary to help Officer Maddox and the team that she has to grow and develop. So she has gone through the Civic Leadership Academy that we offer at the university, totally scholarships, which provided her access to Harris School of Public Policy coursework, help to network her with other individuals doing this kind of work around the city, because long term we're hoping to build a mass of people that are doing this kind of social impact work, particularly on the south side of Chicago. So what I'm charged with is thinking through the ways that we can use both intellectual material and our human resources in terms of our students. We've had a number of our students go out to Parkway Gardens to perform tutoring, to give Christmas gifts and so forth to the kids. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of is that we've been able, through leveraging the brand of the University of Chicago, to apply for grants at the Allstate Foundation and a number of other grants that have helped bring dollars to the coffers for her to hire more parents and to build, because the need is there in Parkway. So what we have to think through is how can we leverage the brand and resources of the university to support Ms. Maddox and the work that she's doing.
That's great. Now, Ryan, how did the university come up with the idea? You were the director of community programs, I know, but
Sure.
It just didn't happen.
No. So our Vice President, Derek Douglas, when he was in the White House under Barack Obama, was touring the country, and he heard the need from a number of nonprofits around the country for capacity building specifically. A lot of the nonprofits that we see, and I think Jennifer would attest to this, spend a great deal of their time chasing program dollars for individual grants.
Right.
So you'll get the summer school grant, but then there's nothing really to develop the team, to put together strategic planning, to make sure that you have a staff that can continue that work after one person may move on. So what we think about at the university is how do we put the kind of business knowledge and strength, as well as the best practices that we are getting from the School of Social Service Administration, into the hands of community people already doing that work? How can we be a partner at the table with them? And so that's really our approach, is to really find people like Jennifer who are out here doing this work, and God knows she does amazing work while being a full-time police officer at the same time. And my job in the background is to think about, okay, well, how can we apply for grants? How can we think about getting her more space? I mean, with, again, 1,100 school-aged children in Parkway Gardens, she's in need of more space. So we're presently thinking through ways to get her a new facility across the street. We've been able to leverage some pro bono architects that come in and look at a potential facility right across the street that would allow her to leverage both teens and younger children at the same time. So I'm connecting with IFF and the trust here in the city to figure out if the university is involved in helping to structure this plan, can we make this work? Because ultimately this will mean better services and hopefully a better quality of life for the kids in Parkway.
Makes a lot of sense. Just the fact that it's happening is just great. And, of course, using the university's name means a lot in itself. Right. And, of course, with the great work you do, Ryan, and then to have I just think it's great that you're going to have a police officer who is working with these people, and it's on her own time.
Right.
That's
I just appreciate the support.
Yeah.
Ryan's team, everything that they've done, the university has been in my corner every step of the way. And without them, I don't know where I would be. And I really appreciate the whole team at the university.
What came first?
What came first is I actually was patrolling that area, Beat 312, and spent a lot of time in Parkway Garden Apartments chasing kids. And so I was noticing there were no playgrounds, there were no safe spaces, there were nothing. There was nothing there for the young people to enjoy, so they found their own enjoyment. And so just talking to the parents, and the parents were saying, well, there's nothing for the kids to do. They can't go outside, of Parkway. They're a little scared because even if, they're not in a gang, just because they live in that area, many people tend to associate them with whatever the gang that might be in Parkway Gardens.
In that area, yeah. Even though they may not be involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so people are sometimes fearful to even say that they even live in Parkway, just so that they can move around the city or in that area freely without someone putting a target on them.
And then you're patrolling the area and seeing these problems.
And talking with the parents.
Right.
And asking them, what could we do? How could they help me and be more supportive of if we tried to do any programming, in Parkway, would they be open to assisting? And they said yes.
Okay.
You know, and that's why now I'm trying to work with our parents even more, because they really want to see their children be successful.
Sure they do.
You know, they want more for their children, and they're willing to help. So we're able to work with another organization called the Southwest Organizing Project, which is allowing us to have a parent mentor initiative grant, and we're working with 2 schools this year, Dulles and Fisk, in order to have parents actually working inside of both of those schools 2 to 3 hours a day and assisting the teachers in those classrooms. That way they'll get more connected with the teachers and really find out what is the need of the school and be there to be supportive of it.
That is great. And I know the principal of one of those schools real well. I'm sure he's be very happy about that. All right. This couldn't be better. I still, Ryan, want to know, how was the hookup?
So I knew Miss Maddox even before I worked at the university. So when I was a community organizer under the late Bishop Brazier, I was charged with going out to do outreach in West Woodlawn specifically. And Parkway is kind of in a unique place because traditionally the Woodlawn neighborhood has stopped at King Drive, and Parkway is on the west side of King Drive. And it wasn't really considered part of Woodlawn technically, and not technically part of Washington Park because of the railroad yards that back up against it. And, you know, you hear a lot of stories about what's happening in Parkway, and I wanted to find out what was going on. So I just walked in the building and started talking to kids and parents, and they said, well, you need to talk to Ms. Maddox. You need to talk to Officer Maddox because she's the one to talk to. And so I finally tracked down Officer Maddox and learned about what she's done. And I got to tell you, Cliff, she's put a whole heart and soul into this. So when I moved into this position at the university, I was honored to try to find a way of supporting her. I mean, she's done everything that she's done since 2010 without ever receiving a paycheck. She's going to get mad at me. But this is all out of volunteer work. And so, you know, again, what resources can we bring to the table? How can we bring more attention to the work that she's doing? I think is important for the people of Parkway, which has a wonderful history. And there are a lot of success stories. I've seen parents go on to get their GEDs, to get their associate's degrees. Kids go on to college and come back and talk about this program. So, you know, again, my thought is, how do we scale up? How do we make it stronger? And how do we promote what she's doing so that other people in other communities like Roseland or Englewood can see that a person can make a difference within their own community?
Well, what is going on is just great. You know, when you talked about, Ryan, the area, I can remember, and it really upsets me. I was going to say something. They would have had to bleep me. 63rd Street used to be unbelievable.
That's right.
You had Robert's Hotel there. You had all of these great things. In fact, that whole area, but particularly where that had a great impact on that community. I mean, just great things. And now, you know, what really upset me was when they put that damn truck thing, you know, this is where the hotel used to. And this wasn't just a hotel. I mean, this was a huge place. It was to get the buildings, and sometimes the Roberts would close the inside because the inside was a parking area, and have boxing matches. I mean, they had all that. He was just great, and he wanted to help everybody, you know. So now, you know, when you look at what that Joe Louis Mill Company was right around the corner, I mean, now you could, if we needed a third airport, you could put it right there without tearing down the building. So I just commend not only you, officer, but the University of Chicago, because we got two people just making. It's going to make a big difference. It's already making a big difference. I think that's great. I used to be the chairman of the Parkway Community House.
Okay.
Wow.
I was the chairman of the Parkway Community House. You know, that's right around on Everhart.
It's great theater in that building.
Right.
How'd you know that?
So my mom was in the Billie Holiday play at that theater.
Yeah.
She won a Jeff Award.
Legitimate theater downstairs. We
Douglas
had
Mann,
everything there.
Yeah.
Everything. We had over 40 teachers that were coming in to help people. We had the gymnasium, the kids, you know, and so forth and so on. We can leave that out. And that playhouse downstairs was a legitimate playhouse. And Parkway just, unfortunately, whatever. But this is the same sort of thing that you folks are doing that is really, really making a difference. Because I see you, not only what you're doing already, which I just think is so great. I see a lot more coming. Thank you. What else would you like to see?
Well, expansion, of course.
Expansion.
We're trying to expand. We're looking at a facility across the street, and it would allow us to actually be able to service the teens all year round, just like we are doing with the elementary age students. And so, we're looking to probably soon fundraise and get the word out that this is what we're trying to do. The teens have really been waiting a long time.
Yeah.
They've been promised a space for so long, and we just haven't been able to deliver yet. And we want to make sure that they have something that they can call their own space, that they will take care of, that it'll become sustainable because they will be able to work there and keep it up. So, because after a while, Officer Maddox is going to be retired.
Not yet.
Not yet, but it's coming down the pipeline. But I just want to make sure that our families are up and functioning where they can one day possibly take it over and keep it going, And when I get old and get in that senior building, they'll come and visit me, and the kids too. But I just would like to also, thank Related Management for allowing me to stay as long as I've been there. Great. And just allowing me to work with some of the families and the parents and the kids there, and actually contracting us to do after-school programming and summer programming. So.
Beautiful. Ryan, we're so pleased that the University of Chicago, of course, is doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Tell us more as we close out.
Sure. So we're really excited. We're going to be launching again later this month a free certificate in nonprofit management for leaders on Chicago's South Side that want to come and get training. It'll be in collaboration with the School of Social Service Administration, so we're super excited about that. This is the first time the university has offered a fully scholarship-based certificate for community leaders, and this is our way of helping to support them as they're seeking to develop and empower their community. So we're super excited about that. We also offer a series of workshops, again, if you're interested in learning more about how to become a nonprofit professional, and you can visit our website at communityprograms.uchicago.edu. And because it's back to school time, if you're interested in learning more about our college readiness and support programs, you can go to civicengagement.uchicago.edu. We have a number of tutoring programs like Maroon Tutor Match or the Office of Special Programs that provides programming and support for high school youth interested in going forward to college. So there are a lot of good things that we want to get the word out, but most importantly, again, working with our partners like Jennifer who are building the communities, and we're happy to serve as partners with them.
Well, you're doing a great job. I just think it's wonderful, Ryan Priestley. The University of Chicago has so much influence and such a name, and for them to come forward and do all of these things, I just think is going to make a big difference.
Thank you, sir.
And particularly with policemen who don't get paid.